Sorry for the delay, everyone. We are live. I'm just praising, Dr. John. Everyone wants to see Dr. John because everybody loves Dr. John. We all love Dr. John.
We all
But
love
today we're
everyone.
actually going to hear a
We
lot
love
from,
everyone.
we love Dr. John and we love that he saves those piggies. And we're going to hear about how you can get involved
I
with
signed
the
up.
Save My Piggies. Yay! The Save My Piggies campaign and walk to
Heart
save a life
Incorporated.
and a
Here we go.
limb. That's coming up.
Welcome to the Heart of Innovation, 60 minutes that could save life and limb with new breakthrough ideas and innovation changing the healthcare landscape. Brought to you by Patient Advocacy Group, the Global PAD Association at padhealth.org, in partnership with Reflow Medical, the pulse of medical ingenuity. Here are your hosts for the Heart of Innovation, Emmy Award-winning journalist and founder of the Global PAD Association, Kim McNicholas, and interventional cardiologist and founder of Save My Piggies Health and Wellness, Dr. John Phillips.
When I say 60,000 miles, what do you think of? You think of
me?
Yeah.
I think of just circling the earth.
Right?
What do you think
It
of?
seems daunting, right? But
What do you think of?
I just found out that we have 60,000 miles. Hard to believe, like I'm only 5'4", right? Maybe a buck 15. And there's
Wet.
60,000, I know, 60,000 miles of vessels along the human superhighway. How is that even possible, Dr. John? I can't believe this fact. Where do they all fit inside our body? What are
There's
we
actually a
talking
math
about
there,
here?
there's a math term to describe it, and it's I'm blanking on it, but they fit inside our bodies because they're super small and they're just cram packed in there. So, for example, when you look at the heart arteries, we see kind of the big ones, but if you dissect out the heart, the heart itself is just full of blood vessels. So it's
Really?
absolutely amazing, which is why, being a plumber is pretty cool.
I can only imagine. I mean, how daunting was it for you to be in medical school and you're a plumber? You're trained to open up even the smallest vessels with a moving target in the heart. So you can imagine tackling the legs. It's a straight shot.
Yeah.
Not always easier with the complex patients we bring your way, but
No,
um,
yeah, you're right. And what's even more strange is sometimes we close arteries on purpose if they're bleeding or if they're like in veins, folks that have venous insufficiency or reflux, big varicose veins that are causing issues, we close those down. So it's always fun. Like I tell people, I spend 90% of my time opening things up and then 10% closing them down. And before we got on air, we were talking about an artery that we typically close down in people that have aneurysms. So yeah, but we do our best to keep them open, and you do your best to educate folks to do things to mitigate risks that cause them to close, like walking. And I signed up for the Great Circulation Challenge, I think is right, like the Great Gatsby. The
like
great.
the Great Gatsby, the Great Circulation Challenge.
What's that all about?
So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so excited. This was actually the idea of, folks that are in our network that they want to learn more about the different vessels in the body. And in Europe, they have a circulation challenge through an organization called Circulife. And they say you need to navigate the tree of vessels throughout the body, the 60,000 miles that are part of this arterial tree or vessel tree. And so we just took it to a new level. I was on the phone with folks from the CLI Global Society, and they were really excited about supporting Reflow Medical, which is a sponsor here. They create that retractable stent, the spur for below the knee, and
Shout
they're
out to
looking at
them. They're
doing
sponsoring us.
right.
Shout out. Yep.
Yeah, and they wanted to come in and they want to sponsor walks because you have the heart walks. You have the, even, like for your dad, they had the walk for what is it?
Parkinson's, or well,
Parkinson's disease. And why don't we have one for PAD when walking is the best medicine for PAD to grow those collateral vessels, grow even more vessels to make it 60,001 across your body. And so
Years ago, I tried to start something locally, and we called it PAWS, PAWS, and it was like peripheral artery disease awareness walks. The S was the walks, and so I think it was like my son and like one of his friends. We lived in Worthington, Ohio, which is a community outside of like a little suburb of Columbus, and we went to the Y there, or the Worthington Community Center, and on a Saturday we walked around and picked up trash in the neighborhood. So we were walking and picking up trash like Michael Dukakis used to do. And we had about 10 people, 15 people. And it was one of those things like, so kudos to you, because this takes a lot of work. Like to organize a true like in-person walk is even harder. This is kind of virtual, right?
Yeah,
Or
it's been literally daunting, but when I say we're going to do something, we're going to do something. And they came in, Reflow Medical came in and said, yes, we want to do them in person, but it's going to take a couple of years to really figure that out. So let's start with a virtual walk and get everyone who's interested in walking to raise awareness for PAD, a disease more prevalent and deadlier than most cancers combined, might be shocking to most people, but most are just not getting diagnosed early, and doctors are blaming it on diabetes, diabetic neuropathy. Oh, it's just your back issues. Oh, it's just a part getting old. You have poor circulation, whatever it might be. Just rest. Don't walk as much. You won't feel the pain. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. But then Endologics came in, the maker of Detour, that minimally invasive bypass that you've done quite a few of those. And they said, hey, let's sponsor it. And you're going to love this part. So I was on a plane and I was next to two amazing college students. They were getting ready to graduate at the time. This was in the spring. And they were both computer programmers, but they were doing some sort of charity mission in Tennessee. And they
okay.
just do that type of thing all the time. And we just started talking, and I was telling them about the issues I was having with our current walking app and the fact that we're a charity. We don't really have a lot of money. All the money that we have goes directly to help the patients. And he said, well, let me help you. And so I'm going to give him a shout out, Chandler Farnsworth. He's just graduated, just started his first, out of
Atta
college job.
boy,
And
Chandler.
he is an angel on this earth who is building this for us and spending all of his time. And he's doing it so quickly. So big shout out to him. If you want to register, padwalk.org/register.html. And sorry about that, padwalk.org/register.html. Or you can call our Leg Saver hotline at 1-833-PAD-LEGS and we'll get you sorted out. But you start a team. You can, start it with your family. You can start it with your community, an organization that you're with. And basically, you're going to travel the entire length of the circulatory system alongside hopefully hundreds, if not thousands of people across the globe. And we're going to find out how you can join Dr. John's team or my team coming up next right here on the Heart of Innovation on KDOW. Don't go away.
Smooth as silk.
I think you
Smooth as
should
silk.
start out with Douglas's question. I love that.
Did you ever see that
60,000
movie
miles.
Inner Space? Inner
Uh-uh.
Space. So where it's like Martin Short and there's another guy and they like get shrunk down to the size of a capsule and go in the body. Okay. They get swallowed, they go through the stomach. I think they get absorbed, whatever. So I had this idea of creating a video game, and this is along the like prevention platform. So
Yeah.
creating a video game where kids are and people are in the arteries, okay, and they're trying to navigate their way to like back to the heart, so to speak. But along the way, they run into like plaque, and they run into clumps of platelets, and they run into other stuff, and then they like destroy it, or they use things to. Because I was thinking about like to your point, and we've talked about this before. Like how do we like talk to kids about vascular disease and get them interested in it. And so I was thinking, man, that'd be kind of crazy if you're in like the coronary artery and you're driving around or whatever, and then you see a blockage and you just like laser through it, and then like you fix the person, or I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
exactly.
30
So
seconds.
If you know
you can
anybody that makes
actually,
games, let me know.
no, no, no. I have an idea for you. So if you use Claude's coding, it's vibe coding, you can actually ask it to create an interactive page and see if it'll do that for you.
Really? Okay.
I've created multiple maps and things like that. See if it'll do it.
Huh. I wonder if it could make it can make apps though. I know that. I've known people.
Yeah.
Am I bringing
It'll
us
do it
back?
for you. Yep.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Heart of Innovation. For more on today's topic, go to theheartofinnovation.org. That's theheartofinnovation.org. Once again, here's Emmy Award-winning journalist Kim McNicholas and interventional cardiologist Dr. John Phillips.
So 60,000 miles of plumbing in the body, right? So arteries, veins, that's a lot of territory, right? How long is it like to get from, let's say, New York to LA? How many miles is that? 3,000 something?
New York to Los Angeles miles.
Or like
Let's
around the world, like that. Just try to put it in perspective.
It's from New York to Los Angeles, California is about 2,445 miles to 2,475
Okay,
miles.
so doing that
Wow.
30 times, right? That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. And that's how many vessels that you have in the body. And I love our friend Douglas, who is one of our most loyal listeners here on KDOW in the Heart of
Has
Innovation.
Douglas ever missed a show?
I maybe one in about, I would say, 5 years. Can you believe we've been
That
doing
was the
this
time
for
he
a
was
long
ordering French fries for his brother.
but he still showed up. He's
That's
still,
true. He called
I'll
in.
unmute. Douglas, he's such a good sport. He lets us jump in. You know, he was the first one to sign up for the walking challenge. And he's
What's
asking
his
the
team's name?
question. Douglas, ask your question that you have over here. That's a really
Well,
good question for Dr. John.
when my first thought was that when you first open your book and you're sitting there at a desk and you open your book and you're going to be, this is what you want to be. And then you realize there are 60,000 miles and you have to remember 60,000 miles of these and these, which way this one goes, which one that one goes. What is that one attached to or that one attached to? And
Okay, so just hold on one second. I'm going to show you something. Just hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
This talk amongst ourselves. So, throughout this show today, for those that are still here, our amazing listeners on KDOW, as well as those on the Way to My Heart YouTube channel, we're going to be navigating. We're going to bring you through the 60,000 miles and the milestones you're going to reach along the way during the Circulation Challenge in September, the Great Circulation Challenge. What do you have there, Dr. John?
I'm blurring my back. So this is
The Atlas of Human Anatomy. That's the book you're holding.
Okay. This is by Frank Netter. So this book, I got this book in 2000. So Frank Netter, when you talk about like, how do you do this? So this guy hand drew all of these pictures. This is the lungs, okay?
He hand drew these pictures inside that book?
Yes. So he's a master.
Cow.
But so imagine, so Douglas, you asked me how I memorize it. Let me just find, so here's a kidney.
Okay. So he's showing a kidney for those that are listening on the radio. But
so like the intricacy of it, all the branches, I mean, there's 6 branches coming off the kidney artery, and then there's tiny little, arterioles and whatnot. But, you look at, so it's rote memorization, like you memorize this book basically, but then you forget it. But you remember, or at least I did, you remember what you need to know. So the space I play in is in the coronaries and in the legs. And so we know most of those arteries, and we know, enough we know enough about them to describe them to other people and figure out which ones need to be fixed. We don't know. I mean, very few people know all of them. Like interventional radiologists, for example, they specialize in a lot of things, but in the gut, they're often having to deal with bleeding issues in the gut. So they spend more time in the gut arteries. Obviously, interventional neurologists spend more time up in the noggin. And so everybody kind of, that's why we're all siloed out. But you put us all together and we know most of the arteries. And some of us know just enough to be dangerous. But to answer
Is there a certain part of the body that has more than others, like the brain or the heart or the kidney? Is there?
That's a good
well, I mean,
question.
yeah, no. Well, this a 10,000 foot view. So some of the cool things about the brain, for example. So the blood flow to the brain is kind of like it's always constant. So like if you feel your pulse on your wrist, like you feel that beating, right? So it's a quick upstroke and then it's down. But your brain constantly needs perfusion. And so the blood flow to the brain is like this humming, there's upstrokes, but it's always kind of there. And the way I describe it to patients, it's like there's a roundabout, the circle of Willis, but the two arteries in the front and two arteries in the back, they go up. And then, so if one artery goes down, the other three take over to help out. Obviously, if you have a stroke, then that can be catastrophic because a certain segment. But over time, some people can close one artery and they don't feel it because the other three kick in. Very similar to what we talk about in the collateral building with blocked leg arteries or blocked heart arteries. And then finally, in the gut, too, the gut is like, I remember when we did anatomy and gross anatomy. So, we're opening up someone who graciously donated their body to science so we could learn. And you're looking at the web of arteries that supply the gut. And there too, they all kind of connect with each other. So one can be blocked, the other one kicks
Yeah.
in. It's absolutely amazing. It's truly amazing.
Wow. What made you settle just on the heart? I mean, initially, and then you expanded because you were an interventional cardiologist. So of course that's at your foundation, and then you
Yeah.
expanded from there.
Yeah, like we like to, so we always, the umbrella of interventional cardiology, that's where we live. But so I was more interested in the physiology of the heart, the pumping function, and like taking care of sick patients and learning. So when we talk about plumbing, we talk about the right side of the heart, which is the venous side, and then the left side of the heart, which is the arterial side. So, and Kim, we talked about this before, but the blood flow in the veins is kind of not wasted, but it's deoxygenated, the nutrient poor, and then it's got to go back up, kind of through the lungs, get oxygenated, get its nutrients, and then get pumped out. So the stuff coming up through the veins, we call that the right side, and we can measure pressures inside the heart on the right side and get a really good understanding of what's going on with the heart pump function. And that was really fascinating to me. I mean, I'm going to get this wrong, but I can't I think there's someone whose cardiac myocytes are still contracting in a petri dish that has been dead for like 150 years or you can we could Google it. But the fact that this thing can beat without, you telling it to, or I mean, I thought that was actually pretty cool. So I gravitated more towards the physiology of it. And then I like doing procedures. And then ultimately when I kind of got into interventional, I was asked to help build a program with peripheral, which I knew nothing about. Like, that's why I'm always like cautious about people, getting too excited to come see us. Because there was a day when I had no idea. I would go watch these guys and my mentors, Gary Ansel, Mitch Silver, Chip Body, and they were doing these cases, and I'm like, what in God's name are you doing? Like, what? All I knew was the heart, and they are mucking around and the leg, behind the knee, below the knee, all sorts of stuff. I'm like, it was pretty shocking to me. So there was a time when I had no idea what I was doing. Actually, there are some times we still don't know what we're doing, but we do the best we can to try to help patients. But it's been a fun journey.
Paving. You're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
paving new
yeah.
paths, and I mean, when it comes to the legs, there's nothing that's durable. Period.
Well,
Right.
and we've got 2 minutes left, but I was just having this conversation with the folks at Reflow. We have not cornered the market on how to treat. It's cool that new technology is coming out, but we've not cornered the market on how to treat the blockages, in the below the knee. And I don't know that we ever will, but we're still innovating, and that's what's cool about it.
Yeah. And that you guys are the ones that are willing to try, the ones that are not, just resting upon the idea that there is no evidence to treat below the knee. You're practicing medicine still. If a person's going to lose their leg anyway, then why not try? Why not practice medicine? Why not create the evidence? What if that one person that comes in there creates that holy grail moment for all of humanity, for all of PAD? And it really comes down to one, the patient's willingness to allow you to try, but also the doctor's willingness to try, the willingness to practice medicine. And I think, that's what it's all about. And I think that's all that patients really want when it comes to PAD is for someone to at least try, right, Dr. John?
100%. And actually, when we come back from the break, I'm going to give you a little moment of inspiration about courage from Mark Twain. So don't go away.
I love it. That was great.
It's amazing how quickly, like, this show is going to be over in like 30 seconds.
No, right? So I don't know. I hope that we did I didn't have a doctor like go through, thing. I'm hoping that we did. It was hard trying to figure out how to run, people through the different milestones
No,
of
you
the
do the
body.
best you can. We can
Yeah.
talk about
Okay.
that, or I'd love to talk. I mean, do you want to talk more about the app and all that stuff, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, because I want to
Up to you.
go because we want to promote the fact that we have this going on. We want everyone to create their own teams or join the PAD support group team or the Save My Piggies team. If they're in the UK, we have multiple teams, even Dr. Ankur Thapar, who is our PAD Global PAD Luminary of the Year. Great research that he's working on for patients in the UK. And he's started a team. And there are several patients that have started different teams. Dr. Eric Dipple started a team, which is great. We just want everybody to start teams. I do recognize, and I want to say that I didn't realize the Society for Vascular Surgery was going to do the same thing again. They did it last year through Charity Footprints. I have called them to ask them to partner again. And offer our app for free to them, and they can continue to use Charity Footprints for their fundraising, but maybe use our leaderboards for the race itself throughout the body. But we'll see. I My bosses are the patients. The patients ask for this. The patients get what they ask for. So this is it. I think it's kind of fun. And that's why I thought that maybe you wouldn't mind during the course of this show maybe taking us through some of the journey that we're going to be going through. We decided to start in the left ventricle.
Okay.
That's where we say the journey begins.
Okay.
We go through the ascending aorta. I think we're going to go straight from the left ventricle to the aortic arch. And then, because I have some of the app on my phone, we have something called Test Flight, and I can test out the app ahead of time. And I can see some of it on here. Let's see. So yeah, the left heart, the journey begins left side of the heart, which pumps oxygen-rich blood into the body. Every heartbeat helps deliver oxygen and nutrients to the organs, muscles, brains. Oh, then the next stop is ascending aorta.
30
So it
seconds.
says there are 1,200 miles that we're going to take from the heart to the ascending aorta. And through that, we're then going to go to the aortic arch, another 3,000 miles, common carotid arteries, 4,500, then internal carotid arteries, 6,000 miles. I'm sure those aren't accurate, but we're just making up kind of the numbers. We're trying to do our best just to make it fun.
1220
Yeah,
KDOW. Welcome back to the Heart of Innovation. For more on today's topic, go to theheartofinnovation.org. That's theheartofinnovation.org. Once again, here's Emmy Award-winning journalist Kim McNicholas and interventional cardiologist Dr. John Phillips.
Let's start with a moment of inspiration.
Dr. John Phillips' spectacular vascular moment of inspiration.
So today is July 25th, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
All day
And
long.
so, yes, all day long. And so I was there was something called the Battle of Lundy's Lane. The War of 1812 was like one of the bloodiest battles fought on Canadian soil involving the U.S. forces. But it ultimately led me to a quote about courage, which I think we kind of were alluding to that when we embark on trying something that may or may not work. But this is Mark Twain said that courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, but not absence of fear. So, we have a lot of fear. I have fear when I try something that I'm not sure if it's going to work, and you're always trying to weigh the risks and the benefits.
Yeah.
You don't want to hurt the patient. But before we went to break, you had said, if the patient's going to lose their leg, why not give it a shot? And that's the mentality that I take, and that I think we all should take with folks who, if the end game is a lost limb, and assuming I am not going to kill them with the procedure, then why
Yeah.
not try? I mean, we have this conversation all the time, but there are physicians out there that don't take it to that level, and I think that's detrimental to some degree to our patients, which is why what you're doing is awesome, and why the circulation challenge is fantastic. So let's keep talking about that, because I want to. So what we can get into the path here if you want, but just can you explain to our listeners what it is that you're kind of asking them to do when they sign up?
So when they sign up, what we want is for them they can walk as an individual. No one is going to do the 60,000 miles in the month of September alone. September is PAD Awareness Month. So 30 days, 60,000 miles. We have physicians, clinicians, people with PAD, their family, their friends, and also general community members that think it'd be fun to walk to raise awareness for a disease more prevalent and deadlier than most cancers combined. And you know what? They may not even be walking just for that, but they might just be walking to learn about the circulation system. And we designed this so that you could end up walking for just the sake of walking,
Yeah.
and to have a group of people with leaderboards. And we democratized the milestones. So anyone can become what we call a milestone hero. So let's say you have a team of like 500 people for your Rotary group. And, the Rotary group of the Western region, there's 500 people, and they start a group on there, and they walk, let's say, the 1,199 miles from the heart to the ascending aorta, but it's 1,200 miles. And then we have our friend Douglas that walks literally that last mile, and he's the one that crosses over the edge. Well, Douglas is going to be the milestone hero, and his name is going to go up in lights. So we really wanted to make sure that everyone has an equal chance of getting a little bit of notoriety, getting a little. We have a little heart with the great circulation challenge logo that's going to be on it. It's a glass heart. It's pretty. You can hang it in your window. You can hang it on a tree, for Christmas time, whatever you want to
Okay,
do.
cool.
But I think it's a great opportunity to not only learn about the power of the legs, and that the legs are the key to the heart, right? It's the key to your whole body. Not to say if you have been amputated that you have less of a life or anything like that, but we want to raise awareness that, you got to move, move, move. And you have this huge super highway of vessels that if you walk, if you exercise, if you move, you're going to help to keep that blood flow going. So you're going to follow a drop of blood starting with the left ventricle, and you're going
Okay.
to go from there. Dr. John, why are we starting in the left ventricle, the left heart?
Well, I mean, so the left side of the heart, the left ventricle, is it's a pumping mechanism. So it's driven by mechanical, like a pump, okay? And so that oxygenated blood kind of comes back from the heart or from the lungs through the left atrium, kind of dumps in through the mitral valve. And then the heart squeezes and ejects the blood. The aortic valve opens up, ejects the blood. And that blood, so that's called systole. The valve opens up, the blood gets ejected out, and it goes out the aortic arch. So the ascending portion, the arch, and then so you've got the three main branches that come off of that to the innominate, it's called, and then the common left common carotid, and then the left subclavian, and then it works its way around the arch, and then it gives off the branches to all the lumbars, and so that's kind of where we start because that's the blood that's oxygen rich, nutrient rich. Interestingly, since we're getting into the nitty gritty, the coronary arteries, so the heart arteries, fill during diastole. So when the heart's relaxed, they fill. Because imagine if when the heart's being pumped, it squeezes and compresses, and so you don't want to fill those arteries. Again, it's just the genius. Whoever designed this thing is, and I think it's God, but whatever. Crazy, right? So during diastole, when the heart's relaxed, the coronary arteries fill because then they're open and they do kind of squeeze a little bit when the heart's moving. So yeah, that's why we start with the left. I'm assuming that's why you start with the left ventricle because that's the oxygen-rich, nutrient-rich blood.
And you are right on. To register for the walk, padwalk.org/register.html, and join us in just a few moments. We're going to continue throughout the body on the human superhighway. So stay with us right here on KDOW. Awesome. Yeah, great explanation, Dr. John.
Well, it's interesting because we've talked about this, the Cures Act from 2020, I think it was, gave patients access to all their medical records, like right off the bat, which I think is good and bad. It's a blessing and a curse. And this is just John Phillips speaking, his editorial. It's not reflective of the show or anything, but some people will open their chart and they'll read their echocardiogram or they'll read their cath report, and they want to understand what it is, and we're very, in a nice way, we say, listen, we speak in a language that you don't necessarily understand. We went to school to learn this language. We speak these terms to communicate with other physicians, honestly. So I try to give everything like the 10,000-foot view and explain it as I would explain it to my eighth grader. Not to be like pompous or condescending, but just to do it such that it makes sense to patients. Or drawing. I do a lot of drawing too, of the plumbing system.
And now it's not just their chart; they're taking their charts and they're putting it into ChatGPT. And there's a case that I just saw on the news where the gentleman actually had a life-threatening blood clot, and it got spiritual with him, and he almost died if he would have listened to ChatGPT, but he delayed care to an extreme extent. Thankfully, it didn't cost him his life. But what people don't understand is how they interact with ChatGPT is how it's going to interact with you. And if it thinks that you are a spiritual being and you rely upon God for your care, it's going to take that and run with it. It's not going to steer you to the next emergency room. It's going to align and yes you all to death. So you have to be careful in how you use it. I always say, Dr. John, with anyone, even with doctors, and the premise for what we do is if you ask the right question, you get the right answer. It's all about how you ask the right question, whether it's of ChatGPT or your doctor. But I found one more thing, something disconcerting that I was reading something about the new CMS. I don't know how you phrase this, the rules or whatever, that they want to entice or help hospitals embrace AI and to encourage patients to use it more often through the hospital, and the hospital to get reimbursed for offering options for patients to have conversations with AI about their illness. So I think that is interesting, and I think it could be trouble down the road.
Yeah, it'd be fun. We kind of do a series on AI in medicine.
Yeah.
But we use something called a bridge. I don't use a lot of it, but it's AI in the sense that we turn the program on, and then through our phone, and basically you and I would have a conversation. Oh, hi, Miss Kim, you're coming to see me for high blood pressure. Tell me about it. Okay, well, you know, your heart sounds good. Like you speak it, like it's kind of like you're verbalizing everything play by play, and then the program will kind of like compartmentalize it and spit it out into what we call the history of present illness. And then, okay, Kim, I'm gonna ask you to keep a blood pressure log, and then you're gonna send it in to me. And if the blood pressure is still high, we might start this medicine. So then it does all my note for me. It's like being a scribe.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then the other thing too is something called open evidence, which is an AI um, large language model for medicine. And you have to have like an NPI number. So you have to be a physician or a nurse practitioner or a PA to access it. But that I think is replacing textbooks. In fact, one of the residents that I was with, she was on my service. She said, I can't remember the last time I bought a textbook. I probably haven't bought a textbook since medical school. And I mean, that's what we live on. So, I mean, again, I'm on a soapbox here, but think about like I can go on this device. I can, before I see you, I can see I'm seeing a 48-year-old patient
30 seconds
with hypertension and this. What's the diagnosis? And that sucker is right 99% of the time.
It's true.
It's because all it is putting information. Anyway, what are we talking about now?
The circulation challenge. I think we're going from the heart to the ascending aorta, aortic arch, carotid arteries, vertebral artery, circle of Willis. I still don't know what that is. You mentioned it.
News.
Yeah, we can talk. You want to take us back?
Sure.
Okay, good.
Welcome back to the Heart of Innovation. For more on today's topic, go to theheartofinnovation.org. That's theheartofinnovation.org. Once again, here's Emmy Award-winning journalist Kim McNicholas and interventional cardiologist Dr. John Phillips.
The Great Circulation Challenge. It's the first of its kind global journey, 60,000 collective miles through the human circulatory system. Every step raising awareness of circulation, peripheral artery disease, diabetes, limb preservation, and overall cardiovascular and vascular health. And you can join. Make sure to start your team, even if it's just a few miles. We're going to challenge Chris D, our producer, and Mike and Craig with KDOW. Start the KDOW team, and maybe we can get all the listeners to join that team. Or Dr. John, you have a team you just started as well, and I have a team pad support group. But let's see who can get the most people to join the team. Do you want to join? What's your team, Dr. John?
It's called Columbus Save My Piggies. I was going to say Columbus Saves My Piggies, but maybe I could change it. Right now, it's Columbus Save My Piggies. So maybe it's like
if you say Columbus, they're going to think Christopher Columbus.
Columbus, Save My Piggies. Like Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Save My Piggies.
I love it.
Change it. Should I change it?
Well, I think you know the developer of the app, so you might be able to do it. But I even think that you could do even overall Save My Piggies, and people across the globe can join your Save My Piggies team, and you can rally the troops. That would be
pretty. That would be cool. That would be cool because again, let's talk about real quick why you're doing it. I'll give you my impression why you're doing it, and I think it is an altruistic attempt to get folks to understand the disease process and take some control in their disease process by walking. So, right, control what you can control. You can't control that your artery's blocked up, right? I mean, like, yeah, maybe you smoke, maybe you have diabetes, and you're working on that. But control what you can control. And one of the treatments we talked about this ad nauseum is walking, and we all should be walking. We recommend 150 minutes per week of moderate aerobic activity. And so that's 30 minutes a day, and get after it, folks. And this is an opportunity to get after it and create a community and, have folks rally behind you or for you and hold you accountable. So you heard it here. Save My Piggies. I want folks from all around the world, and I want to beat Kim. No, I don't.
You're going to get everyone to join Save My Piggies, Team Save My Piggies, instead of PD's support group, because our whole thing is we've had trouble getting, PAD awareness, and why do 70% Americans not know about PAD? And I thought, well, let's just give people the overall view, of the entire circulation system and how everything works together. And we're going to travel along and we're going to learn together. It's one shared route for everyone on Earth to work together, from the left heart to the brain, out to the hands, down to the feet, and back through the lungs. And I even want to give a shout out to my brother. He just got a teaching job for next year, or this coming year, at a Christian school in Temecula, and he's teaching biology. And he asked, "Hey, can my class be a team?" Perfect timing. School starts at the end of August. If you're teaching anatomy, if you're teaching anything about the circulation system in school, even universities, get all the fellows, students and fellows involved to walk the circulation system and drive home the importance of cardiovascular and vascular health, and that walking is the best medicine. So hospitals, clinics, Rotary clubs, even veterans units, everyone. I even have some friends who have walking groups in their communities. Just join to walk together. We got to reach 60,000 miles. So we need 500 to 1,000 people to show up and help us. Every single step counts.
Could you imagine? So, like, could you imagine if we had folks that walking 60,000 miles? Huh. That's a ton of miles now that I think about it.
They're going
Captain
to have a
Obvious here.
choice. So what's great is that after the circulation challenge is over, where we're cumulatively going to reach those miles,
Okay.
afterwards you have a chance to just continue on that 60,000 mile journey. So your steps really continue to mean something. You're going to continue on that journey yourself. And a little fundraising aspect of it, because we do need that for the Global PAD Association. And it's only a few dollars, but at the end of the challenge, the cumulative challenge at the end of September, but also when you do it individually, you have a chance to get a free certificate. We'll send you a certificate of completion, that you bragging rights. But number two is you have a chance to buy a little a glass heart with the circulation challenge champion on it as
And that
well.
helps, and that's important, right? Because that helps you keep the Global PAD Association afloat, right?
It does. And we have 13,000 patients, across the globe that we fight for their life and limb every day. We help pay for co-pays, pay down deductibles
Okay,
for
so real quick, I'm
procedures.
going to interrupt you because we've got 1 minute left. You told me a story about how you paid for someone's Uber, I think, and it was like, was it $100 or something? I mean, like,
Oh,
nobody else,
Douglas is
folks.
actually
We're gonna
shaking
we're
his
gonna
hand.
we got folks. Stay with us. We're
Six,
gonna finish the show on this because this just goes to show the dedication
yeah.
that Kim has and going above and beyond the call of duty. So stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Yeah, you're that's interesting because yeah, that Douglas was holding up his fingers
Oh,
because he was there for that one. That was the toughest one. That was almost $700
I'm sorry.
for
What? What?
yeah, no, because this guy, he had a below knee amputation, but
Seven
he,
hundred dollars in Uber costs?
yeah, because well, it wasn't just the Uber, it was I had to get a medical transport because he refused to use a regular wheelchair, and he refused to hop with a walker, and he refused to use a regular just knee scooter. He wanted to have his motorized vehicle, which he didn't make me aware of that he had, and it's 400 pounds. And so he didn't tell me, and I offered to help him get to a procedure, and I got him there. That was 250 alone to get him there because I had to get an Uber XL, but then they didn't have one available with wheelchair accessibility on the way back. So I had to call a whole bunch of medical transport companies to see if anyone, and of course it was like $500 for one way because they had to drive from New York to New Jersey in traffic to go pick up this guy and bring him another hour home. So yeah, that was expensive, but Douglas and I just had one yesterday, and this wonderful gentleman who we love, he's a veteran, and he didn't want to go back an hour, 90 minutes, 84 miles to go to a vascular surgeon that we knew could offer an additional option to save his leg, and he ended up in the emergency room, and they cut off his leg below the knee. They did a bypass, and there was no outflow. And so that was just destined to fail. And so they just went ahead and just cut off his leg. And now they want to do an AKA because his thigh, his SFA, has a blockage, and they won't even try. So I said, we have this new doctor, Dr. Andres Vargas. And I said, you have a choice. Dr. Andres Vargas is brand new limb salvage specialist down in Kansas City. And you have Dr. Juan Carlos Correa, and both are wonderful physicians.
So he lives in Kansas City.
He lives in Missouri.
Okay.
And this guy lives in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. Small rural hospital, just not a lot of options there for him. Sure. So he ended up, I had to pay, how much was it yesterday? I think it was $430 to and from to get him there. And then I have to get he and his wife there when they have the procedure, because he's actually canceled the amputation. Dr. Vargas believes, and Correa said, hey, if he can't do it, I'm here. So they're both willing to work to get this guy's femoral, his SFA open. It's a block stent. So he thinks just laser and drug-coated balloon. And he said, if anything, it's worth the try, because it's going to be a big difference in mobility for this poor guy. So
I have to say, Dr. John, I was on both of them. And yesterday when I talked to him, I said, it's very simple. Crutches, a knee scooter. Are you willing to hop to a car 30 feet from your trailer to save your leg? What are you willing to do?
This was the other one, Douglas. So yesterday, that one, Douglas is right. He wanted to bring an electric wheelchair that we couldn't get him. And I mean, he's going to blow the knee amputee.
Right.
We'll use a knee scooter. We have our good friend Alan, who shows up here on all of our stuff, and he hops with a walker when he needs to. He uses crutches. We have another above the knee amputee who does the same, uses a regular wheelchair, and when she has to get an Uber, she hops. And it's just, I know it's hard. I can't walk in their shoes, but it was a difference yesterday. And Douglas got him to say, hey, I'll use a regular wheelchair. And we got him a regular Uber XL, which is still more expensive, but we got him there, we got him home, and we're saving the leg, the rest of the leg.
Welcome back to the Heart of Innovation. For more on today's topic, go to theheartofinnovation.org. That's theheartofinnovation.org. Once again, here's Emmy Award-winning journalist Kim McNicholas and interventional cardiologist Dr. John Phillips.
So we've got 4 minutes left. We're, I think, having the conversation about the 6,000 arteries and veins and networks and whatnot, the plumbing, right? But why should, we've talked about the Great Circulation Challenge. Why should you get behind this? Well, for me, let's talk about the dedication, the selflessness that Kim and her team put in for folks. So before we went to break, I thought it was a couple $100 you spent on someone for an Uber. It was $700.
Nearly
and then
$700.
Now for someone else. I mean, some would say that's crazy. Some would say, what, Kim, why? Why do you tell us why? Why do you help these folks when sometimes they don't want to help themselves?
It's hard. It's God's purpose. I mean, I've always been that person that has been empathetic, that cares more about others than I do myself. I recognize you have to be 100% whole to give 100%, of yourself. And I feel like I'm whole, and I feel blessed every single day for the opportunity to help people. I feel blessed when someone trusts me, and I don't take that lightly. If someone trusts me to help them and to be a part of their journey at one of the toughest parts of their life, I feel like it's such a blessing. And coming up next week, we have Mama Joyce is going to join us again. And, my mom transitioned a while ago, and, there's something about having a mama hug. And Mama Joyce has become like a second mom to me. And we saved her leg a year ago. She was on deck for an above knee amputation, and we fought like heck for her. And her daughter called us, and we were able to get her to limb saving care. And now she's walking. I got to meet her in person and have that Mama Joyce hug like no other, nothing, like your mom's hug,
Oh,
right?
I bet. Yep.
And she is going to join us next week because Dr. John, I just think this is amazing that there's evidence to what we do, that advocacy can help. And we're in Vascular Disease Management magazine. It just came out last week. Her story, proof of how advocacy can help in the limb salvage process, in that circle of care to save a limb, and our role in it. And it's a
Yeah.
peer-reviewed article, which I think is a pretty big deal. And I'm excited to share that next week. You're going to help walk us through that article next week. And also, we're going to talk to Mama Joyce and her daughter, Jay, about their journey over the past year to healing that
I
wound.
feel like I want Mama Joyce to make me some food. Like, does that like, is that appropriate? Like, I feel like I want some Southern cooking from Mama Joyce. Maybe,
Yes. Oh, but Jay does all the cooking
oh,
now.
Fine,
So
from J2. Either way,
from
that's
J2, but
yeah.
I'm showing on our screen. If you go to our YouTube channel, The Way to My Heart, you can see where you can register for the PAD walk. And, it doesn't cost to join, build, some team. You can even have rewards for your team. You can have your own hierarchy for the team. And, like, for example, with EndoLogix and Reflow, they're going to have an internal leaderboard that we're going to help them to offer awards for their folks that join their team. And we're going to have some awards for Save My Piggies. I have a feeling that you're going to have your own leaderboard, right, Dr.
That'd be
John?
pretty
And
sweet. That would
we'll
be
have
pretty
some
sweet.
Save My Piggies swag. But go ahead and go to padwalk.org/register.html to join the Great Circulation Challenge this September. And we'll see you on the human superhighway. Really about following a drop of blood's journey. The route follows real circulation. The first steps: left heart, ascending aorta, aortic arch, carotid arteries, circle of Willis, and then there's 34 more stops to 60,000 miles. And you just have to fill out this form right here. And this is the key part. Put your full name, put your email address and your phone number. And you have a choice. You can join as a patient. You can join as a family member or a friend of PAD, a clinician or care team, industry partner, or just a community walker. And once you do that, then you can say, I want to join an existing team. I want to create a team. I'm just going to walk as an individual.
Yeah.
If you want to join an existing team, let's see, you have the Bucky's Walkers. You can join Douglas's team. There you are, the Columbus Save My Piggies. That's a hospital team. I love it. EndoLogix has a team. Essex Eagles, that's Dr. Anchor Thapar over in Essex and South Essex. We have a patient that created the Lanarkshire Blood Flow Brigade. I believe that's in Scotland. There's our PAD support group. We have the most members so far. We have 21 members. Yippee. Even patient pro marketing is coming in. They do a lot of promotional work for the embolization procedures with office-based labs. Dr. Eric Dipple out of Iowa. So if you're in Iowa, you might want to join Dr. Eric Dipple's team. He
I
is
suspect Marcia from Ohio should be joining the Columbus Save My Piggies.
Oh, where's Marcia? Is Marcia on
May have.
anymore? I'm not sure. She was just on. She had a comment. I didn't get her question though for you. And then we have Dr. Chris Seenan, who is a university researcher for Walking as Medicine, started Team Scotland. And of course, this is our other patient group, the UK Warriors. So make sure to join it. You join the wait list, but I think the app is going to be ready next week. So in the next couple of weeks, you'll get information on a download. And as part of this challenge, you're going to join, especially if you have PAD or you have circulation problems in the legs. Every single person who joins is also going to have the option afterwards, especially your patients, Dr. John, can join the walking app. And also they can log their cigarettes. So a brand new feature that we're adding is a cigarette tracker. So it not only logs the number of cigarettes, but also the triggers. So it can help you with the conversation with your patients about what's triggering them. Also the location, where are they having these cigarettes the most? Is it when they're sitting outside having a cup of coffee? Is it only when they're out socializing? We have a patient that says that she walks, and she has a cigarette in her hand, but she walks.
Okay, that's a start. That's a start.
It is a start. So
Right.
anyway, make sure you go to padwalk.org, register.html, and or you can call the Leg Saver hotline at 1-833-PAD-LEGS to get signed up.
So speaking of walk, I have to go set up for a street fair in Grandview Heights, Ohio, to raise awareness for men's health. So
Yes. So are you
off
going to
I
get your
go.
wife? Here's what I think is I think you should have, I think you need your wife to start a game
Yeah, we
day,
could do a game day
Grandview,
one. Yeah.
and then compete, Save My Piggies versus game day, and see who can get the most.
Actually, I'm going to forward her email to you right now. That's a great
You want
call.
me to, you want me to get her to sign up?
Yeah. Um, what is her email? Carolyn P.
Oh,
at.
we want to not say it on
That's
air.
probably not.
So
That's probably not a good idea. Yeah,
we're gonna sign off here.
Thanks,
Thanks
Kim.
everyone for joining us.
I'm gonna
Make
pass that
sure that
on to
you
you.
do.
Pass that. Good call. Wait.
Saved by that. 1-833-PAD-LEGS. Thanks everyone for joining us. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel and sign up to walk the human superhighway.